Isang mas tagumpay na araw, mga bata. Ako nga pala si Ginoong Lloyd Tabayag, ang gurong makakasama nyo. Kaya sa umagang ito, ating tatalakayin ang tungkol sa porsyento. Kaya ano pang hinihintay nyo? Halina, matuto!
Percentages are related to decimals and fractions. It's easy to quickly convert your numbers into them. 1% is the same as 1 over 100 or 0.01.
Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here. Ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen.
Good morning once again, children. Before we start our lesson, let us check first your attendance. And if I call your name, please say present. Okay? Sheena, Debs, Karen, Tessa. Very good. No one is absent today. Okay, children, we are now at the chapter 6 of our lesson, which is the percent. But let us focus first to our lesson 1, the visualization of percent. Okay, class, before we begin, let me read first our lesson outcomes. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to visualize percent and its relationship to fractions, ratios, and decimal numbers. And the second one is solve word problems involving visualization of percent. And now, class, I have a question for you. Are you ready? Alright. In a recent elections for the University of Student Council chairperson, the candidates garnered and the following percent of the total number of the vote cast. For the first candidate, Miss Nikki de Guzman garnering 30%. The second one is Mr. Vincent Lamis, 35%. And Mr. Jerel Mabulay, 20%. And the last but not the least, Mr. Mark Fernandez, 15%. And now, class, the question is, if 1,500 students cast their votes, then how many students voted for the winner? And that is our lesson opener. Before we go more in depth to that question, let us know first, what is percent? The word percent comes from the Latin word percentum, which means per 100 or for every 100. It is one of the common ratios, which is the second term, 100. The symbol of percent has a value of 1 over 100. Okay, class, are you ready to learn? So please listen carefully. Our example this morning is the 5%. So 5% can be written as a fraction. So how can you read this one, class? Very good. It can be read 5 over 100. So in decimal point, 5% can be written in a decimal point in a form of 0.05. And in a ratio, 5 is to 100 or 1 is to 20. And now, class, let us proceed to converting percent to fractions. So to convert percent to a fraction, multiply the number of percent to the value of the percent sign, so which is 1 over 100. Then expressed in a simplest form. For example, Miss Nikki de Guzman garnering a 30%. So how can you write this in a fraction form? Anyone? Very good. So, Miss Nikki de Guzman garnering 30%. So, in fraction, it can be written in 30 over 100. Another example class, Mr. Vincent Lamis garnering 35%. So, how can you write it in a fraction form? Anyone? Very good. It will be 35 over 100. And it can be converted in a simplest form. Yes, it is. So 7 over 20. Clap your hands, everyone. And now, class, let us proceed to converting fraction to percent. So in converting fraction to percent is first, we must to express it as a decimal using the following steps. So the first step is divide the numerator by the denominator. The second one, multiply it by 100. And the third step is affix the percent sign. For example, express 7 over 8 in percent. So how can you convert a fraction to percent? Okay, let's go through this question. Are you ready? Very good. Okay, first step, we must divide the numerator and the denominator. So 7 divided by 8. It is equals to? Very good. It will be 0.875. So the step 2 is multiply it by 100. So 0.875 times 100. It is equals to 87.5. And the step 3, we must affix the percent sign. So our answer is 87.5%. And now, class, let us proceed in converting percent to decimal. So to convert a percent in decimal, divide the number by 100 and drop the percent sign. For instance, 10% is equals to 10 over 100, which is 0.10 or 0.1 in decimal. In our lesson on decimals, in shortcut in dividing by 100 is to simply move the decimal point 2 places to left. For example, Mr. Gerald Mabulay garnering 20%. So how can we write it into a decimal? So anyone? Very good, children. It can be 0.2. Another example. Mr. Mark Fernandez garnering 15%. How can you write it in decimal? Okay, Sheena? Very good. It will be 0.15. And now, class, let us proceed to converting decimal to percent. So to express a percent as decimal, we divided by 10. To express a decimal at percent, we therefore do the inverse operation, which is multiplicand by 100. For example, 0.8 is equals to 0.8 times 100. So anyone can answer 0.8 times 100 is equals to? Very good, 80. And we should always remember to affix the percent sign. It can be 80%. Very good. So another example is, our decimal is 0.125. So how can you write it in a percent? Anyone? Very good, class. It will be 0.125 multiplied by 100. Is it? Or the answer is 12.5%. And now, class, let us proceed to converting percent to ratio. So in converting percent to ratio, we must to express the percent as a ratio. The number of the percent become the first term of the ratio, while the second term is always 100. It means we may be also first find its equivalent in a simple fraction. Then express it as a ratio, that is the numerator becomes the first term of the ratio and the denominator becomes the second term. So are you ready again to learn? Okay, let's go through this problem. Again, Miss Nikki de Guzman garnering 30%. So according from our lesson, we must to convert it into a simple fraction. So what is 30% in fraction? Anyone? Okay, very good. It will be 30 over 100. So according from our lesson again, the first term will become the numerator. So our numerator is, okay, very good, 30. So that is our first term, 30. Then our second term is our denominator is, very good again, it is 100. So that's why we must write in ratio in a form of 30 is to 100. Or we must to convert it in a simplest form, or 30 is to 10. So another example, class. Please read. Very good, 35%. So what is the simple fraction of it? Anyone? Very good again. Alright. Okay, it is 35 over 100. So what is our first term? Yes, it is our numerator, 35. So, and then our second term again is the 100. So we must write it 35 is to 100. Okay, class, it can be converted in a simplest form again. Alright, it is. It will be 7 is to 20. And now, class, let us proceed in converting a ratio to percent. So in converting a ratio to percent, a ratio may be expressed as percent by first converting it to decimals, then multiplying the result by 100. So are you ready to learn again? Alright, so let's go through this problem. For example, to express 4 is to 5 as percent. Okay, anyone? Okay, very good. So we must to divide the two whole numbers, which is the 4 and 5. So 4 divided by 5 is equals to, anybody? Very good, children. So 0.8. And again, what is the next steps? Okay, very good. 0.8 times 100 is equals to 80. And then our answer is 80%. And now, class, let us answer our lesson opener. The winner is Mr. Vincent Lamis, who garnered 35% of the total votes, which is the 1,500 students. So to find the number of votes he received, we may use the decimal fraction or ratio form of 35%. So to use the fraction form, we have 35%, we should to convert into a fraction, it will be, anyone? Very good, 35 over 100. Then, we must to convert it into a simplest form. It will be 7 over 20. So class, anyone can solve what is the answer of 7 over 20 in a decimal form? Very good again. It will be 0.35. So the 0.35 is our decimal form. So that in 0.35, we should multiply it the total number of student who vote. So 0.35 multiplied by 1,500 is equals to, very good, it is equals to 525. Therefore, Mr. Vincent Lamis garnering 525 votes. Okay, children, please prepare your activity notebook and kindly answer this following activities. So I will flash it on screen, and you must to be write and listen carefully. So okay, your timer starts now. And now, pass your activity notebook and I will check that tomorrow. And for your assignment, please answer inside the box. So, and you will pass it to our next meeting. So please write carefully and answer honestly. At sa muli, ako ang inyong math istro, Ginoong Lloyd L. Tabayag, at nagsasabing huwag math takot at ugaliing math tuto.